the rapid development of information and communication technology, or ICT, has attracted many educators to integrate ICT in teaching and learning worldwide. And in the Philippines, it also becomes a great concern of the Department of Education, or DepEd. Technology has great potential to increase learners' motivation, link learners to various information sources, support collaborative learning, and allow teachers more time for facilitation in classrooms. And that's what DepEd is doing to transform schools in a new era of education. According to John J. Macasio, ICT Services Consultant of the Department of Education, DepEd's primary initiative is to use ICT to improve teaching and learning and at the same time improve service delivery, and that's where ICT 4E enters the scene. ICT 4E is the government's effort focusing on 5 areas: ICT-enabled curriculum, ICT-enabled teacher, ICT-enabled governance, ICT-enhanced content, and ICT infrastructure. Macasio added that DepEd has already set guidance. The enterprise architectural design has also been defined.
So hindi na yung basta-basta lang mamimili ng computer, hindi lang basta-basta mag-i-engage ng partner para gumawa ng program, kundi meron siyang isang talagang tiniting ng blueprint. So at present, yung initiative na yan, umaandar yan. Ang tawag dyan is yung enterprise architecture ng DepEd.
As part of DepEd's computerization program, DepEd is targeting to provide computers to all public schools nationwide by 2010. Internet connectivity will also be provided in 6,000 cyber corridor schools. Macasio is very optimistic that connecting schools nationwide via the internet will create a greater impact to students.
Yung kaalaman na ibinibigay sa Manila, equal na nakaalaman na makukuha sa pinaka-remote na place sa Mindanao. Kasi isa lang yung tinitingala nilang ICE digital resource na maaaring available sa internet. Di po ba? O available doon sa dinistribute na CD all over the country.
According to Jose Maria Policarpio, Executive Director of Diwa Learning Systems, integrating ICT in learning is one way of exposing the students in technology in the preparation for the workplace of the 21st century.
Our students need to be trained in different skills because the workplace of the 21st century requires new skills, new mindsets, and new attitudes. That's why at this early we need to adopt new learning techniques and new teaching resources so we are able to adapt to this changing world.
Diwa Learning System is an advocate of integrating ICT in the classroom through their ICT integrated textbooks, and now with Henyo e-learning, an online learning management system for basic education where students' lessons will be delivered via the World Wide Web. One of the biggest challenges that DepEd is facing in integrating ICT inside the classroom is the willingness of teachers or educators to leave the traditional way and adapt the new method of teaching.
If it's something new, not a lot of people would embrace it right away. So the first challenge is to make sure that the teachers and the educators embrace technology and not resist it.
Thus, as part of DepEd's computerization program, teachers will undergo training programs. Professor Noel Pobadora, an AB Foreign Service professor at New Era University, believes that it is about time for educators to embrace technology in their lives because more of the students right now are exposed in technology. Professor Pobadora is now integrating ICT in his class by requiring his students to utilize multimedia content and tools in their presentation. And when he is away, he posts information in blog sites that his students can access.
Sometimes they have access to some important blog sites, wherein sometimes I also post some information whenever I'm actually out of the classroom. Sometimes I go out of town, but I don't want to mess up with the instruction at the same time, the ordinary routine. Still, we're able to keep in touch with each other through it.
The government believes that ICT is certainly a useful tool in uplifting the system of education in the Philippines. Thus, the government allocates budget to push this initiative.
Isinasalang na ngayon yan na bahagi ng budget. Kasi kailangan mo ng appropriation. So, yung mga budget hearing ngayon at saka yung mga previous na mga budget hearing, nakapaloob na yung requirement na yan.
Efren Tertius, an open source advocate, believes that using open source software would be a big help to lessen the expenditures.
Number one, it's free. So yung budget nila for the software can be allocated for buying additional hardware. So mas maraming students ang makaka-access ng computer because of the additional budget that they saved in buying commercial software.
Aside from being free, open source softwares can now be customized and modified according to the environment you want to create.
Bawa kung pang elementary yan, kung pang high school level na yan, or kung pang college level, then you can create your own set of applications and include it in your customized distribution targeted for each level.
Open source software is a good alternative for expensive commercial software, but encouraging people to use the open source software is still a challenge.
Yun yung nagiging problema namin. The users who are already familiar with the commercial version ng mga word processor, graphics, spreadsheets, and presentation software, since sanay na sila dun sa interface, which menu to choose from, when they use the open source equivalent and medyo na iba yung location, nahihirapan agad sila and they want to go back to the commercials.
Let's hear what students have to say about open source.
Marami akong ginagamit like sa Linux, Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian. Yun.
Ang hirap niyang lagyan ng ibang application kasi wala nga siyang antivirus.
Libre naman siya eh. Compared sa ibang operating system.
Just recently, the Society of Communicators and Networkers, or SCAN International Amateur Ham Radio Group that aims to provide communications, disaster preparedness and emergency response, and information technology services, joined at the global celebration of Software Freedom Day that was held at the New Era University, which aims to promote open source and to encourage students and teachers to use legal software.
So mawawala yung mindset na dahil estudyante ka lang naman, siguro pwede nang mag-pirate. No? So we should not allow that. That's why we are promoting open source para yung mindset ng estudyante is to use legal software. And not just use it, but they have the freedom to also modify it and share it to other students and even their teachers. Aside from Intel at saka AMD processor, anong processor pa pwedeng gumana or tumakbo ang Linux operating system? Kayo po?
Bayan po at Cyrix.
Yun, tama. So, congratulations.
Congratulations!